Well, we're here to talk right here.
No, let's go back to your car. Because you guys don't have permission to come across here. We can go back over there and talk about your vehicle.
For almost a decade, the Unistoten clan of the Wet'suwet'en Nation have used a checkpoint to keep multiple oil and gas pipelines from being constructed on their territory in northern British Columbia.
And what are you doing here?
We're just from Coastal GasLink. We're doing non-invasive testing.
Yeah, you gotta leave.
Are they safe to be here right now, though?
No, you're perfectly safe.
Okay.
Do I look like I'm trying to harm you?
No, not at
I'm
all.
peacefully asking you to leave because you're trespassing.
The latest such project comes from TransCanada, the same corporation behind the Keystone XL pipeline, who now wants to build a multi-billion-dollar natural gas pipeline to the Pacific Ocean that would cut through hundreds of miles of unsurrendered Indigenous lands. Last week, TransCanada took two prominent Wet'suwet'en leaders to court, asking for an injunction to remove the checkpoint and allow construction to begin.
It's not just this little courthouse. The whole world is watching what Canada is doing. But since I was a little girl, I was told that's our territory. They didn't tell us it belonged to somebody else, that I had to ask permission from somebody else to go on my territory. All decisions regarding territory goes through our feast hall. I didn't see no pipeline company coming into our feast hall, so they didn't follow the process, so they were the ones that messed up, not us.
Inside the courthouse, TransCanada's lawyer entered 2,400 pages of evidence. Meanwhile, the lawyer for the Unistoten was only able to prepare a handful of affidavits.
And they only gave us like 2 weeks to try and prepare for this. We didn't have a lawyer until yesterday. Yeah, we've been trying to get legal advice from different people, and it's difficult because everybody's busy this time of year and the company knows it.
The courtroom filled with Wet'suwet'en chiefs and other members who watched silently for 6 hours as lawyers for both sides failed to properly pronounce the names of their clans. 24 hours later, the judge granted TransCanada an injunction ordering the opening of the gate for pipeline workers to begin construction.
I knew this was going to be a lopsided situation. You look at the federal government, they make the laws that go into the court systems, and they provided 60% of this partnership funding. So they're already right there in conflict. So it's in conflict. We're going into their courts, which they have lots to lose. So they're backing the other parties, even though everything they said were lies in their affidavits and in their application were all lies. And we had to just sit there and listen to their lies and just shake our head. That's not true. That's not what happened.
The injunction includes an enforcement order requesting the RCMP, Canada's national police, force the gate open and, if necessary, arrest those that get in the way. Just hours before the injunction went into effect, members of the neighboring Gidimt'en clan installed a second checkpoint, making it impossible for TransCanada to arrive at the original checkpoint located further down the road.
Hi, my name is Bob Couture, and we'd like to get permission to get access to go to the bridge, if we may, so I can post a notice.
Ndu Esla.
Pardon?
Ndu Esla.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Skidamden Bianca.
Are you granting us access or not?
This is Skidamden territory.
Yes.
Yes.
I understand.
You can't ask me for permission. You have to ask permission from the hereditary chiefs of the Gidimt'en clan.
Okay.
My name is Vic, and I'm with the Coastal GasLink project. And the reason for Mr. Couture to be here is to post the injunction that was granted by the BC Supreme Court to allow us access to do the work.
Yeah. Canadian courts do not have any jurisdiction on Wet'suwet'en territories. The Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs have full jurisdiction on Wet'suwet'en territories. We have for thousands of years, since time immemorial. We have never ceded or surrendered any of that jurisdiction. So I am not here to argue that point with you.
And we're not here to argue with you either.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to post the injunction.
It's
upside down, then that has nothing to do with the injunction. That's his instructions.
Thank you very much.
If physically blocked from passage, post at that location. Take a staple gun, peg, and hatchet.
The hereditary chiefs held a press conference at the new checkpoint to show their support for the action. In 1997, the Supreme Court of Canada ruled that the Wet'suwet'en people had never given up their rights and title to 22,000 square kilometers of northern British Columbia, and the Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs were recognized as the relevant authority on that territory.
The right and title, United Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, and reconciliation, all these words have been used quite recently by governments. How do you think that reconciliation is going to be achieved when issues like this continue to arise here on the territory?
How could there be reconciliation when they won't even acknowledge who we are? No elected official at any level can outspeak the Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs. We're standing up for what the United Nations has said. Now it's time for the Prime Minister of Canada to stand up and say, we said we would uphold it, we said we would implement it, but they've done nothing but talk about it. We, as Indigenous people of this country, are the ones that need to uphold this ourselves. They need to follow what we say. We are not here to follow them.
As this report is released, helicopters are regularly flying over the two checkpoints, and it is not clear on whose land the police consider the new checkpoint to be on.
I think that everybody's quite aware of the environmental impacts of that the pipeline poses. But even more than that, this is about Indigenous sovereignty. We cannot stand by and let our Yinta, the land, be destroyed for all the generations to come. That would be against Wet'suwet'en law. So there's a bigger picture about the changes that are happening in the world and the changes that broader society need to recognize and need to accept.
While in court, TransCanada's lawyer argued that the only viable route for a pipeline to cross the mountain ranges of the Northwest goes through Wet'suwet'en territory. This proposed pipeline is just one of many that would carry fossil fuels extracted through fracking and tar sands development to markets in Asia and elsewhere. It might even be said that the future of this humble gate is central to the future of energy, ecology, and Indigenous sovereignty on our planet.